Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. Flash. We have a flash from Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, dear.
There's no news at all. Viewpoint, your program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. And we certainly have always have perspective on Viewpoint. So I have some public announcements to do, first and foremost. Our friend, Peter Newhouse, good old fellow down here at Elkhart, sent me an email. But, Peter, you're going to have to use bigger type. My eyes aren't that good anymore. I had a hard time with this. Celebrate Valentine's Day at the Wild Hair Cafe. Now, where do you think that Valentine's Day is going to be, Mrs. Busby?
Well, I expect it's going to be in Elkhart.
And what day will that fall on?
The day I get my tooth pulled, the 14th. I'm sad to say.
Valentine's Day, Friday, February the 14th at the Wild Hair Cafe down in downtown Elkhart. That would be just across the tracks. As you know from your own experience, Peter, they do a good job selling you a nice meal down there.
My word, yes.
And this is a special.
Have for a long, long time.
This is a special, reservations only, 5 to 8 p.m. The number to call is not like Major Bowes, Murr Hill 89933. This is the number to call is 947-2100. 947-2100. Call in for your reservation. Take your lady down to the Wild Hair Cafe. I can guarantee you'll be a special meal. You'll have a good time. And Peter, you and I have to talk about our communication so I can read these things better. But anyway, I promised Peter I would make this announcement, and I am happy to do so because they do a great job down there at the Wild Hair. And
you are a man of your word, aren't you, my friend?
Oh, I don't think I'm going to get I'll have to rescue my donut from Mabel the cat here. I didn't know cats ate donuts, but that cat's going after my donut. And another thing is coming up very soon here. Lincoln College is going to have a convocation program. And we're going to have the Illinois State Historian speak at this program.
Oh.
And that will be there on our Charter Day convocation. It's this Friday, February the 7th. There goes the coffee, too. The cat's going to get my coffee while we're at it. I wish I had my own television camera so you could see this, folks, unfold here. But seriously, Lincoln College, Convocation Day, that's a big deal. And we're going to have our Illinois State Historian come. So plan to show up out there about 4 p.m. this Friday. You'll enjoy it. It'll be worth your time. And you invest your time very wisely if you listen to Judith and I. And now, we have a couple of gentlemen with us who invest a lot of time and a lot of their own treasure. So we have a special thing we want to talk about, Mrs. Busby. So
Yes. An organization that's been active in this area for a lot of years. Bill, you'll have to tell us how many.
27.
Bill, 47 years. 27. Well, that's still a bunch.
Her hearing's like mine. It's not very good.
Comes and goes.
Not only are we tardy, we're deaf. But at any rate, Bill Sahs is the president of Habitat for Humanity here in Logan County, and with him is Jamie Voyles, who I thought somehow, Jamie, that you'd been involved with Habitat before. Have you done work with them? Is that it?
Yes, I've worked on a couple of the houses. My father-in-law, Leonard Kruzmark, is he's the real reason that I'm on the board currently, and he dedicated many years to Habitat and was.
Don't anybody say anything bad about Leonard Kruzmark in my presence.
No,
because they'll have me to whip.
Yes, and I'll join right in with you. Quite a good man.
Been a labor of love with Leonard.
Yes.
And we ought to just mention that little thing he does for all the new the residents.
Yes.
I think that's a nice little thing.
He provides them with a Bible. At the ceremony when they get the keys to the house, they get a Bible to take with. And he does that out of the generosity of his heart and the love of God.
Well,
yeah, he's a special guy.
And he has much of both attributes,
yes.
I dare say. Yeah, lovely man. Well, Habitat, 27 years, that's a good long time. Have you been with them much of that time, Bill?
Much of that time, yes.
Uh-huh.
All but a couple of years, yes.
Well, actually,
I think my daughter has been with them a long time.
Yes,
I think Billy's a birth father of Habitat here in Logan County.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started in the wintertime
When you had time.
in '93. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, bless your
It
heart.
it
How
was
many
kinda-
homes have you built now?
We've built 25 homes.
That is so wonderful, and it's all been volunteer labor.
That's correct, yes.
Well, let's kind of start at the very beginning and talk about how a person is eligible even to apply and how they go about applying, how they are chosen. And all the kinds of things that are involved with Habitat. It has to be pretty darn involved because you're talking about the ownership of a home.
That's correct.
That's a big
yes.
deal.
That's a big deal. Yes.
And it is a process, and there's an application that folks who, for whatever reason, couldn't go to a standard lending institution and get financing for a home. They'll fill out the Habitat application, and then we have a group that's on the board that evaluates and goes and visits with the individuals, and we select the candidate that is most needy and also most likely to be able to pay for the house, because it's not a gift. They work to help build the house. They have a certain number of hours they have to put in, and what we find is they'll help build a house before they get a house of their own, because they get vested in Habitat. And then they have to pay off the cost, and Habitat manages the finances, and we make sure that they have insurance, and we make sure that their taxes are paid, and we coach them along. And so I told you a little bit more past the actual selection process, but those people have become very close to us, and we become friends.
And on balance, Bill, you've had, during these 20-some years, you've had very good results.
Yes, we have.
So odds are that somebody's going to defect somewhere along the line.
Yes.
And we haven't had much of that in this particular instance.
We've actually only had one person that we had to
take it back
from.
one time. That's
One
not bad.
time, yeah.
Out of 25 homes.
Out of 25 homes, yeah.
That's marvelous. As you talk with people who are involved with Habitat in other areas around, are they as lucky as you've been?
Yeah, most of them are Springfield and Bloomington and Decatur and Champaign are all, and they're a lot larger. Of course, when you get larger numbers, you're going to have more defaults, I guess you would call it.
Sure.
But they don't have that many.
Well, that's because for two reasons. Number one, the quality of the people that are helped. And number two, the quality of the Habitat for Humanity organization, which helps those people make good decisions.
That's correct, yes.
In some cases, some people just need to get a nudge or two to get their feet on the ground and then get moving. And I'm certain there are more cases than one, where they've had more than a nudge or two that have made a marked difference in somebody's lives.
Oh, yes.
And particular in reference to, I'm kind of a sucker when it comes to kids. They're innocent victims in most all cases. And I see the impact that you have on people's children. And you're making it possible for that child to grow up in a more stable atmosphere, which is a big thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it sure is.
But it must be so rewarding to you to be in charge of this twofer.
Right.
Really, you're you're allowing these people to have a home of their own, plus teaching them a way to better things so that they can keep the home.
That's correct. Teach them how to repair stuff and do things that they used to call the landlord and say, I need this fixed.
Yes.
Now I have to fix it myself. We go through the process of trying to train them a little on their own so they know what to do.
Well, and they get plenty of hands-on opportunity while they're their home and the home before and after them, too.
That's correct. And when they come in and help, it's pointed out to them, this is how you fix this is how this goes on, so on.
And that matters a lot to people. Somebody in the house
They
has
lost
to
me
know.
as a volunteer in July and August when you have to stuff in the insulation.
I think everybody in the world
That's
has
when I
done
want to
that.
become the water carrier, not the word carrier.
Yes, Gunga Din, huh?
Gunga Din. The impact that you've had here in Logan County in 25 years, have you documented the history of it? I'm sure you guys have, and ladies too. As I'm going to make a comment here about my partner's daughter, who's been vitally interested in habitat for some time now, and has served in various capacities there. It's nice to have ladies who not only have some talent, but are motivated to pick up a tool.
Oh yeah, that's correct. That is correct. We have a lot of women that come and help. It's very, very rewarding to see that happen.
How many, floor plans do you have? Because you need a different kind of house if you had 4 kids than you would if you had 1.
We have a booklet that Habitat furnishes for us. It's probably got 25 or 30 floor plans, basic floor plans in it. And you can pick one and maybe tweak it a little bit and make it different than what it shows on the floor plan, but it's close. And we have had large families. We've had small families. We've had split level homes with 4 bedrooms. We've had a couple of those, and most of them are 3-bedroom ranch style homes.
And your activity has not been confined just to the city of Lincoln. You reach out in the county.
That's correct.
Which is a big thing.
Yeah, we've got one home in Atlanta. We got one we built in
Emden.
Elkhart. We got one in Emden.
Mount Pulaski.
Mount Pulaski, we built 3.
3 in Pulaski.
And you've been in lots of them, haven't you,
Yes,
Bill?
I have.
Yes, you have. And Jamie, you always were a handyman type guy, weren't you?
Yeah, a lifetime ago, I used to do construction work.
Did you?
Yes, I worked for Bush Construction back in '76.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That is a while back, isn't it?
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
I can't even remember that far back.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Not only do we build houses, but there's another factor in the community that Habitat, it's a fundraiser for Habitat, and I think it's a great one. If you have some furniture, if you're moving or something, and would like to, and it must be in decent condition, would like to donate to the Habitat, then they'll sell it to some customer who's looking for a real bargain. And that's kind of a little side issue, but I suppose at the end of a year, that's a very nice piece of change for you.
It helps with the income side of it. Mm-hmm. We've had, here lately, we've had a few people that have retired and gone to nursing homes, and they have donated what furniture they don't need or couldn't sell or give to their kids or family or whatever, and that's been a nice little income for us. The gentleman that works at our warehouse puts us on Facebook. If he gets something new that looks good, puts it on Facebook. So if you want to look into Facebook, we're out there, and we're trying to get on what other?
A website.
Yeah. We haven't got our website up and running yet, but we're trying to get it going.
Well, you're lucky you got young people like Jamie on your
That's
board.
correct. He knows all about that stuff.
All those words.
We're sitting here selling Habitat for Humanity, and we have something else to do, Mrs. Busby. We have to sell for our sponsors. So we'll take a quick minute and acknowledge them with great appreciation. Go right ahead, Mr. Ash. Right back live in the studios here. The program is Viewpoint, of course. We appear each Wednesday morning, 8:15 to 0900 hours, with the varying guests, wherein we try to bring our listeners people from different walks of life, different organizations. One program that Judy and I like to feature and emphasize a lot is our Habitat for Humanity. Do a great deal of job for folks in our community, and in the course of working with renovating new houses or building new houses, we work with our building trades classes here in the county. Somebody's not going to like this comment, but I thought that one of the things that the President of the United States mentioned in his State of the Union address was more emphasis on the very thing that we just mentioned. teaching young men and women the mechanics of how to do things. You know, college is a wonderful thing. Lord even knows it's a wonderful thing. But it's not for everybody. And we need to do more hands-on teaching at the elementary and secondary level of education. So he mentioned that, and I thought that was a great point in his speech. And don't anybody call in and want to argue about speech. This is not a political program. Besides that, I haven't had enough. I haven't had enough coffee this morning to be argumentative. So, but on a serious note, teaching hands-on skills. I'm speaking of electrical, plumbing, basic carpentry, those things, which are so basic for people to know. And those folks who work with the Habitat are learning those skills. So that's a great thing, gentlemen.
Yes, it is. And the last couple houses, we've had the pleasure of working with, through the Lincoln High School, the building trades group, and they spend...
Expound a little bit on how others are coming in to work with you through them, too.
Yes.
Wonderful.
The high school has reached out now. The other schools in the area don't have the resources to have their own trades program, so they're combining, sending their students to the Lincoln High School, and then those students are coming and doing other things too. They're doing other projects. They're doing classroom work, and they're doing probably some maintenance at the school, but it's all hands-on, and we've been fortunate enough to have them work with us on everything from setting the floor joists when the house is just getting started. The concrete's in the ground, the blocks are laid, and they're crowning the floor joists. Do you know what that means? Mm-hmm. Good. Because not everybody does, Judy.
She just whispered in the dark.
My father had a lumber yard. I heard words like this my whole life.
Yeah, and I mean that's a simple little thing once you know why you do it, but if you're not taught, you won't.
Right.
And
exactly.
so that's just an example of the details that these kids get to learn firsthand. And then they help us because they provide that labor that we need, and then they get to learn. So it's a win-win for both the school, the students, and for us.
And as far as the schools go now, it's another twofer, because if you have a small school, you can't offer every program in the world.
Exactly.
And here you've got a way of the schools helping one another without a big financial commitment.
Right, and even this, since it's a Habitat house, the financing side is taken away from the school. If you turn the clock back 20 or 30 years, building trades used to buy a lot, build a house, and sell it, hopefully. And the school would either make money or not make money. And this way, they get to the opportunity to learn, to practice, to do, and there's no financial cost as far as the house itself goes.
So it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back for a minute to the warehouse and talk about where it is and how it operates, please, and thank you.
Okay, the warehouse is on Woodlawn Road, 914, I believe, or 15, right across from the old Alexander, and used to be Mitchell New House, lumberyard, and it's got a lot of space. We got a 30 by 50 building and a smaller building that's next to it. It's mostly the office and stores some stuff in there, but we have a lot of furniture, a lot of shelving to keep smaller items on, and people visit there all the time. It's open on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Most of the time 9 to 4, and Saturdays from 9 to 2. Mm-hmm. We were open on Tuesdays, but with the winter time and slow business, we decided to cut back one day a week, so it helped cut expenses down.
Right, and you have gently used furniture?
And some very nice, yes. So we have, every once in a while, we'll get a few refrigerators, washers, dryers, stoves.
And they're all in pretty good condition, too.
All in good shape, because we will not take anything that's need a lot of repair.
Yeah.
And it all works out well. And
Well, it's a godsend for people who are moving.
yes.
When we downsized and moved, our kids didn't want everything we had, and Lord knows it was enough. So we thought of Habitat, and it's a win-win. The Habitat will come and get it for you,
That's correct.
and you give it to them, and they'll sell it and make some money.
Yeah, we have a covered trailer that we can hook behind to pick up and go to the house and pick the furniture up, and then we take it in and get it cleaned up and put it up for resale. It's been a good program. For
How long have you had that warehouse?
We've had the warehouse, oh gosh, 8-10 years.
See,
It
let's
was in
go
a
to-
smaller scale, and
Yeah.
we've been adding on. Back in 14 or 15, we put the newer building up.
Let's sell a little real estate while we're here on the air. You have a piece of property there that you'd like to sell. Am I correct in that?
Well, the old bank building.
The old bank building,
We're
yes.
trying to sell it, and the right person comes along, we'd be happy to
Talk
let it
to
go.
them and negotiate with
Sure.
them. Well, that's we won't take a commission now, Judy. We just do our public duty and hope.
Thank you, Bill. We appreciate that.
Jamie, you've been with him now a little while. Has there had any unusual experiences that have come to mind to you that humorous or not humorous, as the case may be?
Well, nothing comes to mind right now, but I'm sure they will, because when we get the next house started and we get to know the folks who are getting the house, everyone is a peculiar person. Judy can relate to this, and we all have our peculiarities, and it's fun to spend time with people and really get to know them and understand what makes them tick, and that's what I'm looking forward to with the next house.
When you get as involved as you do with your, what do we call them, clients?
Sure.
You really get to know them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you get into their budgeting and all.
That's correct.
And is it you on the board who help them with these things?
Yes.
You know, that's kind of dicey, isn't it? You have to kind of walk in their shoes almost to do this, because you don't want to offend or make light of anything they say.
No, you handle it with
Diplomatically.
kid gloves, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they understand that we're in their corner too. It's not
Yes.
like we're an adversarial group. We want them to succeed.
Common goal.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. We're not a bank. We're not lending them money, and if they don't make their payments, then we're just going to take the house away and then sell it to somebody else and make money from them. The idea is for them to be a contributing part of the community, and they do that by staying there long term and being successful.
Now, you've kind of broached the subject of the financing. A lot of us just don't have enough money in our pocket to build a home.
Let's ask for a raise.
Yeah, it could take a big one to build a home. How do you go about the financing? Through local institutions?
No, we finance it ourselves.
Oh.
We have fundraising that we do, and the money we get from the warehouse for furniture and things that we sell out of the warehouse is enough. With the income from the other homes that we've built,
Sure.
we have a small amount of income each month from them. And through that, we just turn the money back around and build another house. And that's how that works.
And that next house then also contributes money to the pool so that we can build the house after that. And then that contributes money back in. So all of those houses making their payments helps us have funds that we can get the materials to build the next house.
The next house.
It's
You
always
know,
the next house.
This was no dummy, the guy who set this up.
Nope.
No.
This is really something. And it's across the country, isn't it?
Yes, it is, across the world.
It just,
Across the world.
Yeah.
Now, you just said something I was not aware of. I just thought it was the United States of America.
No, it's in 19 different countries, I believe.
What is the source of Habitat? Do you recall the history, the beginning of Habitat?
Well, Millard Fuller, who has passed away now, but he started it back in the early 70s. And that's where we got our idea to do it, because they were doing what they called a blitz build back in the day. And I was in the wintertime, and I was going through TV, and I saw this, and I thought, they're going to build 10 homes in a week. How can they do that? And they did. They already had the foundation set.
Yeah.
People came in, set the walls. Other people they go to the next one, and they just proceeded down the line. Had the people set the rafters, the people did the wiring, people did the insulation, the plumbing, all this stuff, and they did it all in 7 days.
Wow.
Built 10 homes in 7 days.
Which kind of I don't want to divert the conversation for just a minute, but it brings to mind what China's accomplished over there in building those hospitals in 10 days.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was a Habitat,
It speaks
too.
about two things. They knew how to cut away the chaff.
Yep.
And not have all these foolish regulatory things that somebody dreamed up. And they're being in sole charge, as they are over there, they can do it their way. Well, by George, I thought that was just remarkable.
Yeah. And they're building another one. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Well, we can't do that here in this country. We have people who are do-gooders, and they say, well, you might put a pad on that hammer, or somebody might get their thumb hurt. There are a lot of regulations, and I don't want to make light of them because some are necessary, of course. How are you regulated insofar as what we do for? Let's say we've got a kid out there from Burtonview High School that injures his thumb.
Made you chuckle, didn't it?
Now, is that kid covered?
We have it. We have insurance. Yes.
And that's a big thing.
Yes.
Liability is
Yes. We have insurance through Habitat, and we do all the things that Habitat. We have regulations through Habitat, and it's, like I said, it's worldwide. So they do a lot of stuff for us on a local level to keep us so in line, I guess you would call it.
And to keep the workers safe.
Are your regulations that you get from Habitat on a par with the state, for instance, regulations?
Yeah.
Or
No, they're
equal or exceed.
yeah, probably better.
Exceed. Yeah. I suspect.
Yeah.
How does one? Somebody's hearing this program for the first time and might be a prospect for one of your houses. How does one go about making an application?
Well, they start out, we have a one-page. If they're interested, they can go to our warehouse. They're on Woodlawn Road. We have applications there. They take the one sheet and they fill it out, put their name, and if they're interested, we contact them. And then if they qualify through that first process, we send them about a 6-page application that tells all where they work, their income, all their stuff. They have to actually be a resident of Logan County for a year.
Okay.
And had a job in the county for a year. That's 2 things right there.
But we do have people, some of our communities are bedroom communities, and people may work in another county.
Well, they live here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, all right. Okay.
As long as they got a job and live here.
Oh, okay. They don't have to work.
They don't have to work in Logan County.
Okay, good deal.
Just be a resident of Logan County.
Okay.
And your board meets on a regular basis?
Once a month.
All right. Now tell us about the makeup of your board. About how many do you have on board?
We have 9 on the board right now. We have, 4 women, 5 men.
That's
is
nice.
that right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that you have ladies on those boards. They bring different perspectives.
Sure.
Sometimes they think of things out of the box that people hadn't even thought of.
That's true.
And so it's important to have a smart kid like this girl's daughter. Since has been president of your association
Yes, she
in
was.
the past, put a lot of hours in. I'll tell you, she's not afraid of a hammer. left-handed or right-handed, she'll pick it up. But, Billy, you kind of are the linchpin, so to speak, in Logan County for getting Habitat kicked off. Am I correct in that?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't think you'd argue with me on that. How long ago was that, Bill?
It was late 92, early 93.
And this light bulb went off in your head?
That's correct.
Kabing.
Yeah.
And you decided to do something about it rather than just to think that would just let it disappear in your gray matter up there.
Yeah.
So happily, you organized the group, and since then, it's been all go.
Yeah, it's we started out. We had a group that got together, and we got Habitat International. The local is in Chicago, and had a guy come down and talk to us and told us what we needed to do, all the paperwork we needed to do, and get everything so we could get our 501c3 not-for-profit organization organized and get that going. And really about 6 months after that happened, we got a board put together, and we had a house. We had a lot that was donated to us, and we started building that house, and we had that thing going by Christmas of '93, I believe it was the first house.
I bet you learned an awful lot by the time you had a 501c3
Oh, yeah.
and had gone through all these rules and regulations. How many of the original people are still on the board?
Leonard Kruzmark and me.
Just the two of you.
And I might add, speaking of Leonard, some of us like to do things in a different way. Some of us are not physically able to do certain things. But people like Leonard Kruzmark do things. He puts his money where his mouth is there.
Small things. It doesn't take a lot.
Little thing. It doesn't have to be, well, for instance, this Bible thing that he does.
Yeah.
I think that's impressive.
It is.
And I suspect, I'd like to think it's impressive to those who are on the receiving end of these Bibles. Because it tells them, who is this old dude from over at Emden? Why is he interested in us? Because he is a dedicated gentleman.
He's a dedicated Christian who believes that God is here for all of us, and he shares that with those folks. And he offered up the prayer last night at our meeting, and it's to.
And he didn't have it written down, by the way.
He did not have it written down.
It came from the in heart.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Well, that's your father-in-law, Jamie. You ought to know him pretty well.
Yes, I know him quite well. And
I had something to say about you the other day while we were having coffee.
Has any other Habitat board around here in Central Illinois picked up on Leonard's idea of giving them a Bible when they accept their home?
I'm not real sure, but I think they all do. I think that's one of the unwritten rules that happen.
Just evolve.
Which
is a nice
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So I hope that each Habitat board in the surrounding communities has someone like Leonard who's willing to step up and make sure that that happens.
Yeah.
Is there an organization, community-wise or statewide or anything, that your different boards get together and exchange ideas and so forth? That's a good thing because it's a communicating back and forth.
Right. We have there's an annual meeting that goes on. It's usually in the fall of the year.
When the farmers are real busy.
Yes, when the farmers are busy and we can't go. But I've been to a couple of them, and the last few years I haven't been because of the way harvest has been going. But we have it. Usually is in Champaign or Springfield, and they have breakout sessions where the small groups get together and they discuss what's going on, what's good, what's not so good, and all that.
What works for them.
Yes.
It's just only smart to share those things.
It's nice to get back and forth with people that are in similar situations and how did you handle that? We handled it this way, and it works out well.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we have a house that's going to be built and you have applications in. If you have more than one application, who adjudicates that? Who makes that decision? Your board?
We have a committee on the board that goes through and does all the checking of records and see what their financial situation is, their job, the condition of the home that they're living in has to be subpar or somewhat subpar.
Yeah,
so we go through that and we qualify number 1 and number 2, and this one will get one next year maybe, or the year after. So we select, the board as a whole makes the final decision.
What was the largest family you've built a home for, Bill?
Oh gosh, Everson's had 5 children, I believe.
5 children?
Yeah.
That's a nice size family.
That was a 4-bedroom, split-level house. And they're still there.
Wonderful.
And they're still there.
Well, you just made a common statement there that says something about somebody's decisions in deciding who gets what. Somebody with 5 children still there, that shows some stability.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys you're looking for.
Right, that's correct.
Bill asked Jamie if he could think of something funny that had happened since you've had more years on the board. Tell us something humorous that you ran across.
Oh, gosh. Have we got
Remember,
time?
This is
We'll take time.
We're on the air. We don't want to lose our license.
We don't want to do that. Oh, there's been so many. It just I can't right now sit and think of what would have been the funniest thing. I guess was when I sat down for dinner one day and I thought there was a toolbox there, but it wasn't.
Did you embarrass yourself?
Go over backwards and everybody laughing at you.
That hurts. That smarts.
We're just about out of time. And once again, Mrs. Busby, you and I are not very good about this. We need to tell this phone number. Somebody might have a question and or comment. 648-5510. It's not too late to get the last minute question and or comments, so go right ahead and give us a ring, and either Mr. Sahs or James will be able to try to answer something. We'll figure something out, even if it's not right.
Well, this is a wonderful organization. I can't imagine around the world how many homes must have been built in these years.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It's a lot. We also contribute 10% of tithing every year to the international, and we can determine who gets it. Like a couple of times we've been down in the Dominican Republic. They're building homes down there, and we've done several of those that we've committed to.
And those poor souls down in that area, they get their regular bad weather.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's always a need.
Yeah.
For a home.
That's for sure.
Yes, goodness sakes.
We've just got a couple of short minutes here. We'll let Mr. Sahs sum up for us here, if you will.
Well, just if anybody needs to contact us, our warehouse phone number is 732-6410, and KK is the gentleman that works there, and he's been really good about hooking onto the trailer and going to pick stuff up. If somebody has some nice, well-kept furniture, wants to donate to us, we'd be more than happy to take care of it.
I'd like to remind, we don't want junk. Don't do that
is
to
correct.
us. I mean, this is a for-profit organization, and we can't use all the profit up by cleaning and repairing old refrigerators.
That is correct. Yes.
Or old washing machines.
Right.
Mr. Voyles, give you about 30 seconds to comment or bring this thing to a conclusion.
Well, as a newbie to the habitat, I am looking forward to seeing the entire process work through and being involved with them. Long term, I'd like to see us continue to grow for our warehouse to provide a larger source of income. It'd be great if we could have it open 5 or 6 days a week. If we can generate the revenue, that would make sense. But it takes community support, and those folks out there who have those items that we could turn and make some money on, we need to make sure they know where we are and what we do, and that's why we're here. Why Bill and I are here today, to talk to you, to make sure that the people who are listening understand that we are a community-based group, although we have international rules we follow, and we can't do anything without the community support.
Amen. Give us again the warehouse days and hours, please.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 4, Saturday, 9 to 2.
Gotcha.
Jimmy Voyles and Sir William Sahs, the gentleman farmer from Logan County, two gentlemen who give of their time freely and gladly to serve a very, very important organization in this community, Habitat for Humanity. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us this morning. What you do deserves a nod and a salute from all of us on the street out there. We'll close with something I like to close with in each program, and be the reason somebody smiled today. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.